University have a mentoring program, SOS, they have a mentoring program. So we just want to get an understanding of what it's about and get questions asked and answered. Because one obstacle I've always seen with men is that they always think they need to be like a rocket science or astronaut to be a mentor. You know, they think that, oh, okay, I'm not a doctor, you know, I can't. You can be a landscaper. You can be, well, with us as dad and dad, so responsible father. We have a 10-hour training for all our mentors. It's mandatory. Then we go through mandatory background check. So there's certain things that we have with our mentors because they're not only working with the young man, they're working with the children as well. And I had one mentor, I'll say his name, Bob Letcher. You ever heard of Boat Tune? It's a boating company, they sell boats, so he owned Boat Tune. I can say his name because we asked him politely, you know, after a year up, no more, because he wanted to get 3 or 4 mentors. Buying them stuff and just doing the things that we told him he couldn't do. And, but he tried to do it on the sneak tape. So he said, you know, that's not cool. That's not what this is about. You know what I mean? You're not there to buying things. You had the kids say, Miss IPA, he bought me this, he bought me that. And then his friends try to get in it. You know, when he visits, his friends come and hang out. And, you know, he has a lot of money. He asked me one day, did I feel comfortable with them coming to my house, my mentees, the program. I said, that depends on who you are in your relationship with them. But he wanted me to tell them, well, they are safe. We don't really have mentees who have issues like that in the first place. But that's whatever mentor program one wants to do. I know some mentor agencies know how they mentor do many social activities unless it's within the organization. Some people don't care. So. We can just start and introduce ourselves and just tell us what it is that you do. Start with you, Tim.
Hi, Tim Prince. I'm formerly with Case Management, ATM company. It was funny because that's what I was always looking for, a mentor. I needed mentors for my clients, but I couldn't find mentoring companies out there dealing with Medicaid providers, dealing with Medicaid and stuff. And then I did have the problem with putting information and people trying to see clients. You know, when we talk about that money. But and I seen it is a big need from my side when I was looking at it from the case management side for more mentoring companies out there. Others. So at this point, I'm on the end of saying I'm trying to go at it either as a case manager plus / because some companies out there. Case management companies also do mentoring companies also. And trying to go as, when I met Hakeem, he's saying, I was saying, do a private funding because I don't want to deal with ARCA and Medicaid. Them guys say, oh my goodness, and everything. And say, I wonder if there's a market out there to do private funding, mentoring and case management. And some of my clients say, yeah, Tim, we'll follow you. We'll pay for my kids because they need it. You know, but then when I met Hakeem, the funding and the grant, the 503C, and is money out there doing, I said, oh, well, it's something to continue to try and work on and build on. And as I came out Monday, listened to the guys saying it's a process, and some of them been in it for a while trying to get it built up. So that's the area I'm looking at and dealing with and working with the youth, young men. Women is a good, you got to have a good niche for the young women. Ooh, you got to have a good niche to work with the young women, and it takes some strong African American women to work with them. Got to have it. But for the men, they want somebody in their life. them little boys, little babies want somebody in their life that's gonna care about them. And just need more brothers out there that's gonna step up and say, hey, my little time that talking about going with the fellas to play basketball, you ain't play out no more. Spend some time with these kids and put some light in their life. And so that's, and then also my other part, because I'm transitioning, you know, the company where I was with, they closed down a couple months ago. I'm out trying to find something in the field that I'm gonna be able to still move around and work with kids also.
So there's definitely money out there. There's a lot more money for SOS, groups like SOS, than Strengthening Our Sons, than my mentoring program. Anyone have an idea why? Yeah, children get more money than older kids. I never forget the first time I went to Disney trying to get money from them. That was my Teen Fatherhood Academy. And the Teen Fatherhood Academy, the way it worked at the time is that we were in alternative high schools, and any kid who wanted to be involved, you know, can be involved. At any age, it can be any young father. And I ran it through the whole school year. Disney said, we ain't gonna give you the money like that. They said, first of all, you have to get a specific age group. So I had to switch it to 14 to 18. Second, they said it has to be a time period. It can't be non-stop. It has to be for a 10-week period, 12-week period, so forth and so on. Why? Because they want to be able to get data, measurable outcomes for the program. You can't get that with people coming in and out. So the same way, like Just the Gentleman, when we start that program, they get their pre-test, and after the 8 weeks, they get their post-test. And then people stop it there. You can't stop it there. You have to evaluate the test and the activities. If you don't, so you have activities through the 8 weeks, but if you don't evaluate it, you know, it's like, it's like you're setting something up, but you're not completing the task. Disney wanted to see something like that. So that's what a lot of organizations do, that they fail. You know, it's just like, you know, if you have a nonprofit, you should have a strategic plan. You know, that's more important. People say, yeah, you need a business plan, you start a business. That's not always the case for a nonprofit, a strategic plan. But you have to have an action plan to implement it. So it's like a lot of them don't do that. And then they evaluate themselves sometimes. A lot of people, the best evaluator is any local university that you want a separate entity to evaluate the program. How are you going to evaluate the program yourself? So a separate entity has to do that. Notice some of the things that mess people from getting funding. You know, that kind of messes that up. Well, we're going to talk about, before we leave, what's the issue with why, you know, there's so many non-African American men and African American women. Gary?
My name is Gary Kyle. I'm Vice President of the MW Sigma Chapter of Phi Beta Sigma. We run a youth officer program through our chapter, our Sigma Beta Club, where we deal primarily with youth. So we're trying to take back nuggets of wisdom that we've kind of, I won't say stagnant, but trying to escalate it, you know, to the next level. So just trying to get that wisdom right back to our chapter.
What about the Beta?
Sigma Beta Club? Yeah. We currently have
Tell them what that is.
It's our youth auxiliary program that we mentor youth within the area. We have Dr. School, Jones High School, but we also deal with middle school primarily. So we get young men into the program, just try to channel them to be better young men. It's fairly new for Orlando. Say for the past few years. Past 2 years. So just
Isn't that a national program for that illustrious organization?
yes, it is one of our national and my brother's keeper, which is rolled down from my house in Oakville Park for homeless administration. So it kind of leads into it through our education initiatives. Good.
How you doing? It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Mark Eastman. I basically run a nonprofit organization called the Academy of Kings, and it's a male, sorry, got nervous.
Yeah, it's a
it's a male empowerment group program that I have put together, and the end result is to be a charter school, but which would be servicing strictly to males. It would be the Academy of Kings Male Business and Leadership Charter School. The vision behind that is, well, obviously we understand the role that imprisonment, lack of graduation rates, and poverty plays in our community. So if I can essentially build around that, meaning teach children what it is to be a leader in their home, I can help alleviate the imprisonment rate. If I can teach children about business and about commerce, then I can alleviate the possibility that a child goes to jail for doing something illegally and performing, trying to attain income, something of that nature. So the end result is to build the community through putting the father back in home.
What made you want to do this?
My pain. My pain is my passion. So I am the Academy of Kings. I'm the oldest out of 5. Grew up in a single parent home. We all know the story. I'm from my streets look just like that right outside. And I was blessed with the opportunity to go and play football on my way out. Played football at the University of Central Florida here. Ended up transferring to a school up north. Got my degree in communications. Now I'm married. I'm in the faith, and all glory to God. That's how I was able to make that transition. I suffer from identity. Exactly what we was talking about. Well, you all were talking about it, but that was what I suffered from. Parents was a black sheep. My mother was cast out of her home after she had me at 17. So I didn't have that male figure. My father was 18. He had already had a child when he was 16. He was a dope boy. Made millions of dollars on the street. So he obviously didn't know what it was to be a man. So that put me in a whirlwind. Not trying to, there's no pancake session or nothing like that. I'm a man and God is good. Jesus reigns, but that's where the drive that I have behind what I desire to do right now all came from my pain, which is my passion.
Everybody, my name is Troy Johnson. I'm a mentor with Strengthening Our Sons. And we have some Chris and Tammy Hope here. I'm a mentor, as I said. I'm also vice chair on the board. And if you know Strengthening Our Sons, then you know what it's about. If not, then we are a mentoring organization, nonprofit, 501c3 as well. And we just had our Brothers in Brunch. Our keynote speaker there this past Saturday. We offer prevention and intervention services to males from 9 to 19 and we try to offer them a glimpse of exposure. We have sessions, the second and fourth Saturdays that we go to one community center, and it's from 10 to 12. And we try to have sessions that we have curriculum that Tammy and being behavioral health counselor, and just with some of the curriculum we have, we structure that is our activities, and we take them on trips. This year we're trying to restructure. I don't want to go too much. I know Tammy and Chris are go behind me and stuff.
You got your vision right there.
I want y'all to do the same thing. But this year we're trying to restructure the program because we had some moms, wanted to be on our babysitting program. We had some moms that wanted to just come and drop them off and hey, my son's bad, so I'll take care of him, kind of thing. And So we want to try to focus, and I really relate this, but Madam, I've seen a couple places, but obviously, as you said, everybody has their own past, and I certainly have my testimony and being able to relate, and now I feel like I can give back, and now in the position that I am. But we're trying to restructure the program where we're not just about focusing on behavior so much. Of course, we have the intervention piece where we try to counsel them and the social work and the case management, things of that nature. But with the prevention side, we want to try to focus on financial education, literacy, and things of that nature, entrepreneurship as well. So we want to try to get more into that and have more of a structure where it's just not, okay, we just kind of have these bad kids and try to fix them up and just only deal with the badness. Of course, every kid, they don't have any direction or guidance in their life, and they may have some behavior issues. So we want to focus on more things and actually have a structure where they can focus on something in particular, and not just. So we take more trips. We go to different places, planning trainings, automobiles. We have a flying program. We go to the science center. We go all kinds of places. CSI museum. It's just if you go to our website, of course, we have many different things that we do with them. Well, we're partnered with the city of Orlando. A couple other partnerships that we had as well. Goodwill is one that we with their mentoring program. We kind of partner with them. So we focus more on group mentoring, and it's not really individual one-on-one based mentoring. So we have at least a couple guys and we break them up into different phases. So we have different age groups, like 9 to 13, 16, 16 to 19, whatever we meet with those phases, and we try to, tailor it to those individual groups because they all have different issues at those different ages, whether they're elementary, middle, or high school. So not to get long-winded, that's kind of, if you want to know more, obviously we'll be here. We want to be able to cooperate and work with other mentors as it was being able to work together to see if we can partner or if they come with finances or, whatever we can do to help each other, because it's all about the boys. At the end of the day, we can't do it all alone. And sometimes everybody wants to do their own thing, as you said, and they're not getting much accomplished. We can't service every board, so we need multiple programs. It's not about this, one program is up here, the other one is down here. Well, let's tell those get up there. It's about Orlando. It's surrounding areas, communities, and counties. Let's try to get them all, with different organizations. So with that, I believe in strengthening our sons. And the way I kind of got into it was one of the ladies that had interviewed us on the radio. And that's how I got into it. I heard one of the ladies doing Chris and Tammy on the radio. It was in 2012. And it was when I didn't go to church. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, because I was looking for a mentoring program to get involved in. I was looking at big brother, big sisters and stuff. About other ways. And when I heard about it, I said, this is something I really want to get involved with. I think I wanted to start something with grassroots and see my kids, small, big, growing and everything. And I called him and talked to Chris, and he's like, yeah. And I heard fan YouTube angle. I heard the rap. But now I want to get involved, and I really dived right in and was able to help out. And I love the kids, I love the boys, and they seem to respond to me well. And I think we're doing a great job. Obviously, we have to kind of evolve every year with what you deal with the kids and the parents, the mom, even some of the dad that we deal with. But we want to try to see what everybody else is doing and see if we can help out, if we can get some assistance, and just try to get these boys as well. Some of the girls, some of the young black girls, really just about the nuance.
Don't worry about talking, brother, because I met you a few years ago. That's the most I ever heard you talk. Don't wait for him to come up, because I think this one here, so I'm waiting for him. I don't mean Tammy talk all the time. I'm waiting for him.
You're right. I don't really. I do.
But it's your action.
Because I was kind of new. I wasn't on the board initially, and now I've been more involved since I've gotten on the board. And I've actually been doing one thing with speaking. I've been toasting that side and everything. I do announcing at church and all kinds of stuff now. But I'm not a stranger to speaking. And if you do talk to me, you'll see that I have a lot of good stuff to say.
But that's good, brother. Well, that's good. That's good. And how many of you know about strengthening SOS as they say? Go in there. You have a Facebook page, right?
Yes.
Yeah, go on the Facebook page. You will see some good pictures. They had the brunch. And if you would have saw those young brothers, with those bow ties on, those shirts, and one thing, when I was speaking, they was looking right at me. They was looking right at me. So I'm saying that, they doing an excellent job, and we just got to support in a lot of different ways. But I was grateful that I was preaching and they asked me to speak, and it made me feel good after, especially looking at those young boys. And you would see Mr. Hope there tying bow tie, and you would see all the pictures. So those are the type of things that we need to see with these little boys. Teddy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tammy Hope, founder and director of my son. I won't go and reiterate what Troy said because he did a really good job. He really did. So I'll go into a little bit about my story. I started strengthening our sons prior to marrying my husband. We went on 8 years yesterday. So prior to that, I raised my son as a single mom in Miami. So that's where I get the whole strengthening our sons. I went through the whole, absent father, child support, all of that, and just seeing him and his friends, I was like that. I was blessed to have my mom and dad, but I didn't have my father. My son didn't have his father, so I had to do it all. So I found myself also being like a neighborhood mom. I wound up taking, other moms were struggling because they had more kids than me. I only had my son. So I would go and pick up all the boys in the community, making sure they got the basketball and all of that. I just told them, look, don't worry about it, I got them. So just from that, over the years, and also being a teacher, and I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Charles Audrey Middle School. It's right in the middle of Liberty City, surrounded by, so all that. So working with boys in the school, I eventually just got a niche for it. I would have classes with just all boys because for some reason, I was just really good at working with boys. But I saw that, so from that, after a while, I just realized, I can't do what I need to do being stuck in the classroom. So from that, I just started a nonprofit there, at least writing it up in my head while I was working on my master's. And then when I moved to Orlando, I just decided to serve a lot of times. You're going to have to tweak your curriculum to fit the kids that you're working with.
You just use the data that you have and modify it, And like wise guys don't talk much about social media. I think the last time it was revived, I think it was 92. So, and that's the most widely used pregnancy prevention evidence-based curriculum in the country.
We was also thinking about real quick about the group mentoring. One of the things that we found out that it reduces like the liability, and you don't have to be one-on-one with the mentor. You have to feel responsible for getting them something to eat, or making sure they say if you drive them or whatever around. You have them in one place, and you got a couple mentors, and you don't have to worry about all of that kind of thing. But that's it. If your choice, whatever your program, however it's
If you're dealing with younger kids, it's easier to make choices. You deal with them because you can do group things, and a lot of times they like group things. The older guys who, some of our fathers, 19, 20 years old, that's a little different dynamic. But no, you have to little responsible because just gentlemen, that's what we like to do. Have them in groups, and it works out better. Brother?
How y'all doing? Good evening. Bruce Peters, program director with Precious Arts Mentoring.
Oh, okay, brother.
I'm gonna just give you a little outline of what we do, with our mentoring company, and I let them run, as far as how it was, how it was started. This is a sort of how it started. But as a program director, I oversee the mentors, and female mentors. We service kids between the ages of 5 and 18. We do a lot of group mentoring, one-on-one mentoring. We go out to homes, schools. We get authorizations, referrals from PCF, me personally, and I'll give you my kind of backdrop on why I'm mentioning. Same similar story to the brother here. Grew up around here, and I wasn't always Mr. Mentor Bruce. You know what I'm saying? I had a past, and I believe my past helped me be the person I am today. And I say that, I grew up in a single parent household. My mom died when she was 2. She was homeless. She never experienced family love, etc., etc. Of course, that went down to her, because she didn't know how that go. Father, big drug dealer. He's a Jamaican, and I seen a lot of stuff going on in the home, abusive to my mom, beat my mom all the time, had a lot of anger, hate towards him. Like honestly, I wanted to kill him, because I had that much anger, how he did, guns in my face, in my mouth, telling me he'll kill me, etc., etc. My mom, that's my hero. I love her. What happened to allow me to do what I'm doing now? I played ball. Football was my way out as well. I played a little professional ball as well. I went from University of Arkansas, played around basketball league in Canada, and mentally, I was thinking, football, sports, this is what I want to do. And I've had a lot of injuries, and I came home and I got my degree in sociology. I always wanted to work with elderly people. That was my passion. Wasn't thinking about kids or whatnot. But something happened to me that changed my life forever. And what happened was I was working at a place called Covenant House in Florida. Homeless teenage place, where they, shelter like homeless kids. And one night I was getting off of work at 11 o'clock. I was riding down the road. I seen one of the boys who just got kicked out of the shelter. And when he got kicked out of the shelter, he was walking, and I wound my window down and I said, "Hey man, you alright?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm alright, I'm good, thank you, Mr. Bruce," And I was like, alright, I was in traffic, so I kept going. I got stopped at the next light, and somebody said, turn around. So I turned around. He said, get out and talk to him. So I talked to him, we talked. Said, let's go grab something to eat. We grabbed a bite at IHOP. And I just started talking to him. And God just was speaking through me and talking to this young brother, man. And he just began to cry. I was telling him, man, I'm here for you. I'm helping you. He just began to cry. We had a very sweet conversation. And he reached out to his back pocket. And he gives me a gun. And he says, thank you, Mr. Bruce. I was planning on killing myself. And I said, what? He said, I prayed to God that this morning, and I asked God, if I'm worth living for, you'll send someone my way to help me. And that day, he got kicked out the shelter that evening and was walking down, so he was really planning on, killing himself. And he gave me the gun, he just hugged me. So I find from that moment on, I felt a type of joy, experience that I never experienced ever in my life. It was very foreign to me. And I tell people, I've been in situations to where I've scored the last touchdown to win a conference championship game and been praised by thousands of people, and it feels good. I never experienced something like that. And ever since then, I just been full-fledged at it. Mentoring is all I do. I haven't done anything since then, and that was 2000, got there playing ball in 2012. Ever since then, I've been doing strictly, mentoring, going out to the homes. I found it so effective, as far as, things that's been going on and the type of kids that I reach and things that they go through and how they open up, they'll open up more to, that mentor or that person who they feel, versus a parent or et cetera, teacher or whoever, from my experience, but that's what drove me, to do mentoring And you know, I just want to collaborate. And I tell you this, and you were speaking about it earlier. When I first came into this field, when I decided, hey, you know, mentoring, man, I really, is it any mentoring? Because I never knew what a mentor was until I started mentoring. I think I may have heard that word maybe a few times, never knew what it was at all. And I met a few people and I always had questions on why I see this mentoring company. I mean, this guy has a mentoring company. This person has a mentoring company. But I always had a question, why? There was never no collaboration. You know, it seemed, everyone I met seemed like, hey, I have my own program. This is, you know, this is what we doing, you know. Oh, no, this, you know, we have our own, like, you know, it's as, and I see it in a different perspective as far as we all, whether our guidelines, our curriculums, or what we all are servicing the same type of people. We all have the same goal, you know. There's great things about each and every different company, I feel, and I feel like if we all, you know, collaborate and do things together, you know, I think we can be more effective in the community with the kids and with the young fathers and whomever that we're serving. But I've been with Precious Hearts, like I say, I love it. Something I enjoy doing. Like you said, you know, you have your days where you like, well, it's driving you crazy, you know. But you know, some way God, you know, He comes in and freshens you, and the next day, you know, I'm back at it. You know, I'm back at it.
You don't have those days, you're not doing your work.
Right.
And you know, as we spoke earlier before some of you came here, we were talking about that, and the point I was making is that, you know, mentoring, there's different types of mentoring, but, you know, the agencies have to support one another because people come to me often who need mentors or want to mentor smaller boys. You know, we don't mentor smaller boys, even though we have a different program, it's not a mentoring program. So, you know, if mentoring organizations don't communicate with one another, then they're going to limit the impact that they can make. That's period. I don't care who you are. You're going to limit your impact because there's resources available. And just like Big Mama said, that fist is much stronger than those fingers. You know, and when you meet, that's why we're here. That's why we do this every year. We don't care how many people show up. We're going to do it every year. We don't get one guy here want to be a mentor. So what? We're going to continue to communicate with one another and try to support one another. We have events. We need to be out there, you know, helping, supporting. If we don't do that, and it's like I said, you'll survive. You can survive, but you're really not going to make the impact that you could make, and you have the potential to make. So that's what we were talking about earlier for people that wasn't here. You want to go, Joe? Or just let her go since she was the same group, right?
Oh, back in those. I know. Well, I apologize for my tardiness, but I was trying to set up another event for our young men and young women for this weekend. But I'm gonna give you a little bit of history about myself. Excuse me if I do start crying because I'm still kind of emotional. But when I was 2 weeks old, my mom was walking through the alley, and matter of fact, I'm from Bellway, so a little country out. Yes, a little up, yes. Down south. Yes, yes. So my mom was walking through the alley one day, and I didn't have on no shirt, and this young man said, you know, why she don't have on no clothes if you don't want to give it here? And my mom actually said, here you go. So my godparents, you know, raised me from 2 weeks old up until I was in middle school. And when I tell you I had the best of the best, own room, everything, I was straight A students, I was in the gifted program, until one day my godparents wanted to adopt me. And my mom said no. So she took me back, and they got into a huge fight, and then of course I had to go back. And at that time, DCF was involved in our family because my mom was doing drugs and alcohol, and then my baby sister was born with drugs in her system. So when I got into her one's gonna be smarter than the other. Is one gonna be dumb, all gonna be dumb. She stopped me from going to school at that point. I started getting whooping with water hose, extension cord. I got a TV thrown at me. She used to throw all the pots and the pans and clothes outside and make me go out and clean it up and pick it up. And if I didn't do it right, I had to go back and do it all over again. So I used to call myself the little Cinderella. From there, I began to just hate life. So my mother's boyfriend at the time was like, oh, your mom just jealous of you and you know whatnot. So he began to show me a little bit of affection. And of course, I didn't have my own father in my life because he was in prison because he was a drug dealer. So he began to show me attention, give me hugs and stuff like that. And from there, it went from him touching me inappropriately. And then from there, it went from him raping me. So in order for us to keep the lights on and the water on, he would say that if we didn't do certain things, then of course our lights would get turned off or whatnot. And at the time, my mom knew about it, but she was just too drunk to, it was like, you know, it's like she gave us to him. It was mainly just me and first I thought it was just me, but years later I found out that it was me and my older sister. So he started with my older sister first, and then it started, when she left the house, then of course it started with me. And then from there I just developed, you know, insecurity issues, trust issues. I couldn't understand like why my mom didn't love me. And I said, you know, if my own mom didn't love me, you know, then who else would? You know, so of course I stopped going to school. I just didn't care. I questioned God a lot. You know, I even said that, you know, God wasn't real, you know, because why would he allow me to go through all of this? So I met a young man, and of course I had my daughter at age 21. Just in and out of different families' homes and all of this. And then from there I said, you know what, well, you know, who gives her that right? Who gives her the right to tell me that I'm not going to be nothing? You know, she doesn't have that right. I have that right. So I felt like at that point I needed to take back my life and the power within myself. And of course I moved maybe about an hour away from home. I started, you know, going to college and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was still, I would say, insecure about myself. You know, I felt like in order for any man to love me, I had to give my body away. Like as long as I had sex with him, you know, and then that made me feel like I was loved because that's all I knew. I didn't know anything else. You know, so from there, like even, you know, with my daughter's, you know, dad or whatnot, and, you know, I even became homeless at one point. And it's just crazy because he had his own apartment, and I'm homeless, and I'm living in a hotel, but he's coming from the hotel, he's coming from his apartment to the hotel to see me. But, you know, once again, I didn't know any better. So he got his own place, but we're both pretty much living in a hotel, you know, and it's because, like I said, I didn't know any better. And then at one point, I went on vacation, and this was in 2010. I was coming back from Vegas, and I went to go pick up my kids from my mom's house, of course. And it was the first time that my kids had ever stayed with anybody, because right now to this day, my kids don't stay to nobody's house. They have never stayed over to their father's house, grandparents' house, or nothing, because I always had that fear that someone would touch my child. And even though, you know, even though I have my own apartment right now, it's like I'm still afraid to even allow a man to come into my home and live with me, because it's like I'm afraid that if I fall asleep in that one instant, this man would touch my daughter, and God knows what will happen from there. So June of 2010, I went on vacation. That was my first time ever going anywhere, and then of course, coming back home, I went and picked up my kids, and as I was driving down the road, my car got shot into 6 times. They mistaken my car for a drug dealer car. So there was a bullet in my son's car seat, a bullet grazed my daughter's head, a bullet was lodged in my seat, and then there was a bullet fragment in my nephew's back. Once again, I questioned God. Why am I here? You know, why is all this negativity, bad things happening to me when I haven't done anything to no one? You know, I moved. So from there, I was my senior year in school. I was in I left everything. I moved up here September. This happened in June. From June to September, I stayed in my house. I didn't go anywhere. So one day I just got on the road and I came to Orlando. And I moved up here the one weekend and I got my apartment weekend. I went to UCF and I was like, you know what? And I immediately got accepted into the nursing program at UCF. But still, I was still empty inside. So I met this young lady. Her name is Afrisha. She was going through a mentoring program called MLYA. And she said, hey, since you're home, why not, mentor kids? And okay, sure, fine. I'm not doing anything, but I do while my kids are in school, whatnot. And she was like, and then I watch, your kids while you go out and, see other young lady. And my first mentee was a young lady that went through the same exact thing that I went through. But instead of her stepfather raping her, it was her own biological father. And she was just the same way, insecure, had multiple boyfriends, was having sex and all kind of stuff. So one day, something was inside of me was like, tell her your story. And I was like, oh no, God, no, I'm mad. I was like, she's not telling me her story, so I'm not going to share mine. Because I knew her story, but I wanted her to open up to me because I had been with her for at least about 2 to 3 months. And she still had not told me what happened to her or what was going on with her. So the minute, I couldn't even hold it in until it just started pouring out. And I just started sharing my story and just, telling her what happened to me. And she was like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Veronica. She just started crying and saying, oh my gosh. She thought that she was the only one that this is going on with her. And then from there, of course, she was in the foster care system. So she asked, can she come and stay with me? And I was like, I don't know. So I talked to my sister and my stepmom, who I'm very close with. And it was like, don't have that girl in your house. Like, she's already having sex. Like, you got a little girl, your daughter go, do this and do that because of her. And I was like, you know what? Somebody got a mind of her own. I felt like I raised her well. And I was like, if she's going to do it, she's going to do it regardless. So I'm not going to, I can train her the best way I can. But she still has to have a mind of her own. So with the court, and I ended up having this young lady to live with me. And then from there, I think that's where my healing began. Because in the process of having this young lady live with me, I began to change her life around. And for me to know that, wow, I can make an impact. Like someone that is so broken, someone that doesn't even care about herself, that's insecure in her own self, can pretty much change this whole girl life around, just right in front of me, right before my eyes. I was like, oh, wow. And then the judge was like, hey, if you're willing to start a mentoring program, we're willing to help you. And the judge and DCF and everybody helped me start my program. So it started off as a girls program. That's why it's called Precious Hearts, of course. And then from there, we started a male component because, in the system, DCF, they saw how good of a job it was, having me changing young girls' life around. And my daughter, now she's my daughter. She's 22. She's in college. She lives on her own. She has a baby girl. Even when she was pregnant, I'm like, hey, okay, you're 18. You want to go out and do this and get pregnant? No, your boy gonna still stay in school. Mom, I can't move. I don't care. You're gonna wobble all the way up until you can't wobble no more and sit in that chair. And she did. She stayed in school, and she's still in school. And she tell everybody how, Mom, don't get pregnant because Mom gonna make you go to school. That's right, sure is. Because I feel like if by me being a single parent, and if I can work 2 jobs, because I'm also a substitute teacher, if I can work 2 jobs, and then turn around and go to school at night, and my GPA is 3.8, then I know you can do it too. And I tell all my kids, the sky is the limit. If you aim high and you think high, you're going to be successful. But if you think low and negative, of course, you're going to always face in the bottom. So, and I just let them know, never, always dream, have your dreams and have your goals. So, one day, just, that one person that told you you ain't gonna be nothing. And I tell my mom right now to this day, you know, you told me I wasn't gonna be shit. And excuse my French, but I think I'm very successful today. You know, and just about, you know, the beginning of January, I felt that, you know, in order for me to continue to heal, because I'm still not healed. I still have trust issues, I still cry a lot, you know, I still have questions, and that's still not answered because I want to know why did he die? Because the day that I said that I was going to tell on him, he went next door, he had a stroke, and he never regained consciousness. You know, so, but I wanted him to suffer. You know, I wanted him to go to jail, I wanted him to feel the pain that I felt, and I felt like God took him out too soon to where he wasn't able to feel my pain, you know. And, yeah, I'm sorry.
You made it a long way without crying. I think that got something to do with the group too. I think that got something to do with the group too, because everybody here, you know, they're here to help people. And if they're not helping them, they want to help them. So I think that's powerful. Had anyone ever heard of this organization before? Okay, now we have. You see, this is the purpose that we're here. This is the purpose that we're here.
And I think mentoring, I'm sorry, but I think mentoring is very important, even for, you know, and I know, I feel that, I understand that men need to be mentored, like young men, like gender match. But I truly feel that a young woman, a young lady needs to have a positive male role model in her life. Because she needs to know the basics, the fundamental that, hey, you know what, you don't have to go out there and have sex with this teenager for this teenager boy to make you feel like you're loved. You know, like, there's a lot of absent fathers, not also in the male life, but in female life as well. To where if they don't know no better, how they gonna do better?
Someone did a study about strippers, look at the high percentage of them who didn't have a father figure, you know, around them in their lives. So, but thank you, sister, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Joe?
So my name is Joseph Caesar. I'm the community manager at the Callahan Center. I've been here for the past 8 of the past 10 years. Full-time I've been with the city around 12 years. And we do a lot of mentor programs that we've started in the past maybe 2 years with the Obama Initiative, My Brother's Keeper initiative that we've done, you know, we're doing citywide. A couple of them, one of the programs that we started this year is in Washington Shores Elementary and Ivy Lane Elementary. We go in there and we take the 4th and 5th graders and we do a group-based mentoring. All the managers of the facilities that are African American males, we do that. We're going into the schools once a month. And you know, it was crazy because when we first started it, we weren't really sure. We had one of the principals from the elementary schools that came at us and they said, we really need some assistance. Because as you know, she had a staff that was mostly female. And you know, they were struggling with their young man. So we were able to go in, we did group mentoring where we grouped them, depending on the size. At Washington Shores Elementary, we had about 80. We had a larger group. At Ivy Lane Elementary, we had about 40 kids. But just really just talking to them about life and about choices, decisions, you know, education, you know, different. We go into everyone that had a different topic. So we did that program. We've also done a program, we're doing a program now where we're taking teams from each community center and we put together a teen advisory board. We're doing mentoring with them in hopes that they go back to their community centers and they do mentoring with some of the younger kids that are in their community centers. We have a small, team, well, it's not a small, it's a team program that has between 20 and 25 kids. And we found that that's been very effective with the peer-to-peer mentoring, where we've mentored the middle school, the upper middle school, and almost high school kids, and then in turn they go and mentor the elementary school kids. You know, because a lot of us are older, so it's very difficult for us to, you know, connect with the kid that's in fifth grade. You know, it's so crazy. It's funny because I'll tell you this little story. I have a couple of mentees that I mentor, And I was driving and taking my kid to lunch one day. I'll never forget this. It was a school vacation day, so whenever I was school, so we went to go get something to eat. And so I was listening to some music. I can't remember what the song was. And I was singing it. And he said, "Mr. Joe, who is this?" I said, "You don't know who this is?" And I don't even remember the song. And I said, he said, "No, I don't know who this is." And I think it was, I don't remember who it was. But it was an old school song. And then I said, "Well, who do you listen to?" And so he started naming these rappers. I said, "I don't know who the hell that is." I had to come back to my office and I was on Google YouTube. So, I mean, it just really, and I'm not that old. And so it just really showed me that there's really a disconnect between, when we try to mentor the younger ones, especially the elementary school kids, but, so that's why we do the peer-to-peer mentoring, and it's really been effective here with some of the things that we do. But aside from what we're doing as a city, I run a community center that's in the heart of Fairmore, and I tell any of our programs that we have probably 20 programs that come in where people come in and facilitate programs like Just a Gentleman. But any program can be a mentoring program. It doesn't have to say it's a mentoring program to be a mentoring program. Anytime an adult comes in and positively affects the life of a child, it's mentoring. I don't care what it is. I mean, we have Dr. Dorsey that comes in and they have a group of males that come and teach golf. They teach golf, but it's mentoring because they're talking about life lessons. So I always tell people, it doesn't have to be a mentoring program. It can just be time that you spend with somebody's kid to be a mentoring program. And I've been very fortunate. I've been in this community for 10 years because I'm able to, see kids grow and get older. And I've been able to be in a position where, kids that were in the program now are hired and kind of still do the mentoring, with them. And it's just a beautiful thing. But we're here. We have, summer camp. This is the first week of summer camp, so that's why I'm bummed out today. But we have about 150 kids that we see every week. And there's 15 other community centers in the city of Orlando that look the exact same as this one does. And then there's Boys and Girls Club that look exactly the same as this does. YMCA's. It's just a need for us to be able to come in and do mentoring. And I'm so happy to see programs like you guys, I know what Tammy do. I mean, I love that with the young ladies at the home, because it's needed. It really is. And the worst thing in the world, and it really, you love anybody that's a mentor. You want to see anybody mentor. But I told this story Monday. I went to a conference in DC, and there was a mentoring conference, and when I walked in, I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna be with a bunch of my brothers from around the country. We all do this mentoring thing." And I walked in, and there was a bunch of middle-aged white women, and I was just like, "What is what?" They all mentored, and most of them did mentor. A lot of them mentored in urban areas, but a lot of them mentored in rural areas. But this was a national conference, and I said, "Man, this is what mentoring looks like across the country." So it really was a culture shock for me. And that's why I am, a big spokesperson for what we do, what we're doing in the city of Orlando, trying to reach out and get mentors. And it doesn't have to be people think mentoring is like, "Oh, I had to change everything in my life. I got to go spend 10 hours a week with this kid." It's not. 1 hour a week. 4 hours a month. And Brother Haki says this all the time. I started to steal this from him. He said, "Guys can call me and we can go play around the golf. And around the golf takes 4 hours for 1 round. I play golf every week. So if you can go play around the golf for 4 hours, you can mentor a kid for me." Sorry, I still.
I always say that.
Yeah,
you ain't mentor. All you gotta do is 4 hours a month.
But like I said, the important thing, for me, I tell all the people that want to come and do programs, whether it's Boy Scouts, Girls, I don't care what you're doing. You're doing mentoring. You're trying to teach a kid something positive, you're doing mentoring.
Joe said something very important that, especially the guys that start their organization, the new organization, you have to utilize the services you have in your community. And community centers are right there. Like Joe, this is his community center. Joe's helped us, been supportive since we've known him. So some organizations start out new, they go asking for everything. Give me this, give me that. And they don't even utilize resources You know, the brothers in Atlanta, young fathers in Metro Atlanta, we start. They asked me, okay, what's the first thing that they need to do? I said, get a list of every community center and surrounding areas. Go in there and introduce yourself. That's step by step. And funders like to see, people that are going to give you money like to see that you're utilizing the resources you already have before you go after them. So that's just a point of information that, you know, a lot of organizations fail to do. Joe has done, go ahead.
And I also mention this for the guys that are starting out, you know, and you know, I did this several times when we first got started and came to Orlando. You know, you can't. It's difficult to go in there and ask people for money when you haven't done anything. You know, so a couple times when you first start programs, you might have to do it for free. You might, you know, I know the first time we did Team Academy, young fellas, the Team Academy and Just the Gentleman, you know, we didn't have any great money for that. And Haki said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So you can start collecting that thing, you know, and now we're lucky enough to have a little bit of money to be able to do programs like that. But at the beginning, you know,
that's going to help you be in the position. You know, most funders not going to give you any money until you have at least 3 years of financial statements anyway. Like Disney, people, our first guy, they said, go get money from Disney. And they asked me how I got it in their office. They said, how long you been here? I said, 6 months. You got money? They said, come to you. They said, you got to have 3 years financial statement. And that's what they say, you really got to have 4 to 5 years. But I was fortunate since they hadn't had any team follow the programs that Disney said they were going to help me get to that point. So that's when they funded the dinner. They did all these different small things before we could even apply for a grant. So that's, you know, the old saying, you know, you got to crawl. Well, yeah, you have to. And you know, you got a lot of good people around you. Both of y'all got a lot of good people around you. That's what this is about, too. You know, when people have questions about mentoring in these national organizations, you got to solely a mentoring agency, you should try to be a member of some of these organizations to get resources. Some of these people are even hiring you to come do some training with them if they haven't been familiar with your work. They asked me to come out to New Mexico to do some work with them because I was in D.C. in this expert young father group panel, a panel of advisors, and one of the experts, there was only 6 of us in the country that was invited, and one of the young ladies was from Albuquerque, New Mexico. She never worked with a black family in her 15-year career. 75% of her clients were Native Americans and Hispanics. So sometimes, you know what I mean, people were actually, they want what you know. And sometimes they, you know, they're going to pay you a bunch of money.
Also a member of 586, so I work with Gary with Sigma Bears, and I'm also a collegiate advisor for the guys over at UCF. So my mentoring side is more so with them, you know, college age young men, you know, to say, full of life, full of living, and full of foolishness. So I try to direct them in the right path. So you can't get a degree, get a degree, you know. And my wife can tell you we got many a phone call in the middle of the night. We got a little bit of babysit from time to time to make sure that this one brother, make sure he gets out and he's about to graduate with his engineering degree, so we're really proud of him. So, for me, young fathers, I can't tell you, anybody don't know, it's a passion for me because I was a young father. You know, my wife, then not my wife, when I was in college, came knocking on my door, telling me she was pregnant, and I was 21, she was 18, and it was like maybe 5 degrees outside, and I instantly started sweating. So, but, you know, grace of God, both our families were strong and supportive. Okay, but bail out that get, overwhelmed, confused, and lost. They want to do the right thing, but don't know what the right thing means. So, how he stood up in our chapter meeting talked about this young college Central Florida thing. They're like, all right, bro, what's next? And they like, we got a job fair. Me and Steph were there at the job fair that Saturday. She get in a car accident. We still going to the job fair. And we've been there ever since. I apologize for being late, but one of my responsibilities on the board is to go out and get money. And Hakeem would allow me to be late because I got a check. Everything. But like I say, it's a passion for help. It's a passion for help. And sitting here and listening to these stories and stuff, y'all just ignite my fire to get out there and do a little bit more. Because I thought I was doing something until I started hearing what other folks are doing. I'm like, man, I ain't doing nothing. I gotta get back some gear. So appreciate it.
I hear a lot of perseverance. That's why I hear a lot of perseverance. So the story is just perseverance. And it's to a positive channel, it's a positive work. But Ruben being honest, he's mentioned a lot of those guys in those colleges. So he might not call himself that, but he's being quite honest. Next brother.
Good evening, my name is Steve Haywood. At this point, a lot of you all already have mission programs. I've been slowly working towards mine since 2011. So I'm basically here to get a great deal of knowledge from you all. I've been kind of lost to, I kind of mentioned this in another meeting, to trusting people or finding people who I could kind of role model myself around to allow me to get where I need to go. I work with a number of different locations right now. I do career placement and goodwill team, basically from 11th grade to first year in college, helping them with employment, GED, getting different sorts of credentials, whether it's school credentials. So in any aspect where I can help them to grow and move to the next level. As far as personally myself, I think a lot of my passion in working with kids initially stemmed from, it's kind of a two-way street. I did come from a home where my mom and father was in the home, but at the same time there was a lot of verbal, there wasn't so much physical, there was always verbal negativity, on behalf of my father. Some of the same things I hear, you'll never be anything, you'll never amount to nothing. When you get good grades in school, they say, oh, the only reason you get good grades is because the teachers know me. Something was always something negative, and it went, even when they have 5 siblings and 6 of us, so throughout the whole stage of life, my mom, she was going through numerous nervous breakdowns, in and out of the hospital, and as young, your mind, you really don't know what's going on. You know what's going on, I was constantly worried about my mom, and after so long, it takes a toll on you, impact you, and it actually pushed to a point where my mom tried to take her life. And I guess that's where a lot of the emotional and behavioral things come in at, with the passion of me wanting to work with kids. I did have people around me, but at the same time, I did all my siblings, except for one was pretty much gone. So I really didn't have anyone around me, so I kind of closed myself in, always pretty much to myself, because of the same thing, I didn't trust anyone, and almost was kind of embarrassing to discuss it with everyone. On the flip side of my mom, she worked with Head Start. She was like an area manager for Head Start for like over 40-something years. And we used to always go to, I came up with Head Start, but each summer she would do like a summer feeding program where the kids would come. And as I began to grow older, I began to see all these kids that just run to her. She helped them, continued to help them. Even, you know, as they got older, even till today, a lot of them still come to her. And you know, my oldest sister, she's like 53, 54. So it's people of her age, because she came through the program. So it's people of her age that I still see come back to my mom, call her, check on her, everything. So I think that's a lot of where that other side of that passion came from. And so, like I say, I'm here to meet good people, learn and grow. And with my program, I want to work with young men between the ages of 7 and 17. From all aspects, I'm not going to cut anyone off at the age of 17. I'm going to continue to work with them, but that's initially that age group that I want to work with. I want to catch them, you know, nowadays it's getting almost where we're going to have to catch them at 5. You know, so I pushed mine back to 7 to 17-year-olds, but at the same time I wouldn't turn down anyone. I do work with some of the youth in the community. I don't know if some of you are familiar with it. It's not, you know, it's Tildenville area, out in the garden area. So I've been, you know, and I tell, like I mentioned last time, I tell the kids there, you know, hey, it's an open house. You know, my door's always open. You're welcome to come. If you need to talk to me, you know, I'm always there. I have a 21-year-old son, and my daughter's 18. My son goes down to Austin State. My daughter's in Rapid Spelman. So I'm really thankful, and a lot of times they talk to my son and my daughter. A lot of them have been in trouble, but they still have the respect. You know, they know, well, Mr. Haywood kids, or, you know, you don't see them out running around and anything, but I always remind them my kids are no better than you all. You know, so in any aspect, you know, they'll go to them, hey, Jamari, let me know, tell your dad I want to talk to him or whatever. So I get, you know, I feel like I'm in the sky when that happens, you know, so that's kind of where I am.
Good, thank you. Now, you said Tildenville? Is that your Stony Brook West?
Yeah, it's right
Okay.
on the other side.
Right, okay. Don't say I'm not that way. All right, good. But Tim, this is a young man, I'll tell you.
Okay, he was at the rest of you work with Goodwill.
Right. Yeah,
Okay, so you're the one that's Ashley and, okay, yeah, because I saw you in the pictures last time.
yeah, they do good guys program.
Right.
Okay, that's it, because Tammy thought I was talking about him when I was talking about you. And he showed up, I said, no, that's not him. so good, I'm glad. When I invited
They
him.
had told me about him, but I never met him. So-
Okay, so yeah, when I told him about Monday, I said, come, he was the first one there.
Okay.
So, some good people. Sir?
Okay. Here, invited Tam to talk to me right here. I don't have a program. And I don't want a program. I don't want to recreate a wheel. I want to be a spoke in the wheel. We went to a workshop about 2 weeks ago, and somebody asked the question, how long have you been working with kids? And they started with 35 years. I'll be 64 next week, and realized I've been doing this in some capacity or another since I'm 11. I became a social worker, and it was purely by accident. I had a crush on a little girl, 11 years old, and school came along. School ended that year, and she was volunteering in a summer program where little kids would come and would do arts and crafts and basic math and stuff with them, and I wanted to be around her, so I volunteered for the program. I was there for like a minute and thought, this is what I want to do with my life. At 11, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Also, God is a great architect because He builds even when we're not aware of him building. I come from a single-parent household. My father was an abuser, serial baby maker, sperm donor, whatever. Saw him like maybe 8 times in my life. So when I look back, all those experiences I had coming forward were all building to where I am today, and the things that I've done and accomplished in my life, and allowed me to touch other people. I know what it's like to lose a child because I've lost a child. I don't claim responsibility or credit for being where I am, because if life had been up to my best efforts, I'd have been a statistic in jail. And God blessed me and kept me, in spite of my behavior, in spite of my worst ideas, managed to bring me around those obstacles to where I sit today. I did 25 years in the police department, which people were shocked at. In my high school yearbook, I was most likely to take a life. That's really what was in my yearbook. That's what was there. And when people found out that I was a police officer and then retired, they were amazed. I have to be honest, I'm amazed. I've worked in mentoring program, youth advocacy program. I've done, when I went to graduate school, my capstone project. I didn't want to do something that had been done again and again. And after some soul searching, I decided I wanted to do parenting skills with men who were incarcerated, and develop a way of helping them become better parents in spite of their incarceration, and to use whatever they had to the best advantage of their kids. And it worked out really great. And some of these guys were hard as rocks, and to see how they turned to mush when you start talking about parenting and fathering, and when their children would come to visit them, and how they would apply those things that we talked about in the program to their children and their spouses. I've worked with offenders of domestic violence, which was hard and something I thought I'd never do, which, by the way, is something I've learned. Don't say I'll never do it, because God will make you eat it every time. I wasn't going to work with domestic violence offenders because they're the scum of the earth, and I wasn't going to work with children with developmental disabilities because I need immediate gratification, and you don't get immediate gratification with those kids. Everything I ever said that I would never do, God had a way of putting me there and allowing me to touch people, and allowing people to touch me, and allowing me to grow. So, yeah. And managed to go from New York to New Jersey to Illinois, and now to Orlando, working with people. And so, when I say spoken wheel, if there's something I can do, some way I can be of assistance to anybody here who's got a program, just yell. I'll do whatever it is I can. I learned not to I don't have to be cheap. Being an Indian's a good thing. And I think about still people who go way back in my life, in my earliest contact with people in a helping way, and I still hear from them, some of them, and they'll say, you know, I still think of you. I still think of things you've said, but done. I have people from Illinois where I work